Welcome to Wild Earth Creatures, where every creature has a story. Let the adventure begin. Imagine facing one of Africa's most dangerous snakes. And instead of flying away, a bird walks toward it. Then it kicks. And that kick can deliver around 5 times the bird's own body weight. But here's the strange part. This isn't an eagle diving from the sky. It's a bird of prey that spends most of its life walking across the African savanna. A predator built less like a hunter in the sky, and more like a fighter on 2 legs. So how does this bizarre-looking bird take on venomous snakes without getting bitten? Today, we're following the secretary bird through the savanna to uncover its strangest weapons, its deadly hunting technique, and the surprising reason its survival could tell us whether the African grasslands are healthy. Across the open grasslands of sub-Saharan Africa, a strange silhouette moves through the morning light. It is tall, elegant, almost awkward at first glance. But don't let appearances fool you. The secretary bird is one of the most unusual birds of prey on Earth. Standing more than 4 feet tall and carrying a wingspan of roughly 7 feet, it can look almost like someone combined a raptor with a long-legged walking bird. Its body is covered in pale gray and white feathers. Its lower legs are long and heavily scaled. And rising from the back of its head is a distinctive crest of dark feathers. Those feathers are part of the reason for its unusual name. The traditional explanation is that early Europeans thought the bird resembled 19th-century secretaries, who wore long coats, dark trousers, and sometimes carried quill pens behind their ears. But its appearance is only the beginning. Because despite having wings powerful enough for flight, the secretary bird has chosen a very different way to hunt. It walks. And it can spend hours crossing the grasslands in search of prey, sometimes covering more than 20 miles in a single day. Most birds of prey have one obvious advantage: the sky. Eagles soar above their prey. Hawks dive from above. Falcons attack at astonishing speed. But the secretary bird does something completely different. It hunts from the ground. It moves through the grass with long, deliberate steps, scanning the landscape for movement. Its diet can include insects, rodents, small birds, reptiles, and other small animals. But there is one prey item that made this bird famous: snakes. And not just harmless snakes. The secretary bird can confront venomous species. When it spots a snake, the hunt becomes a game of timing. The bird spreads its wings. Its head feathers rise. And suddenly, its body appears larger. The snake may strike toward the moving feathers. But those feathers are not the real target. They're a distraction. The secretary bird is keeping the snake's attention away from the weapon that matters most: its legs. The bird keeps its body elevated above the ground while its long legs give it distance from the snake's fangs. Then comes the attack. A rapid downward strike. The goal is to incapacitate the snake before it gets the opportunity to deliver a bite. The entire encounter can be over incredibly quickly. Because against a venomous snake, hesitation can mean disaster. And here's something important. The secretary bird is not immune to snake venom. It doesn't survive because venom can't hurt it. It survives by avoiding the bite in the first place. Now imagine the danger from the snake's perspective. A cobra raises its head. It prepares to strike. But the secretary bird doesn't simply charge blindly. It keeps moving. It watches. It uses distance. And when the moment comes, those powerful legs move with incredible speed. The bird can deliver repeated stomping strikes, targeting vulnerable parts of its prey. Sometimes it may also strike with its bill. And if the prey doesn't go down immediately, the bird can continue attacking until the danger is gone. In some situations, secretary birds may even throw prey into the air or slam it against the ground. This is not the elegant image most people have of a bird of prey. There is no dramatic dive from the clouds. No talons grabbing a snake while flying overhead. Instead, it's a ground-level battle of reflexes. One animal has venom. The other has reach, speed, precision. and an astonishingly powerful kick. But the secretary bird isn't only a snake killer. Its real advantage is the environment around it. The open savanna gives the bird room to move. It can see across the grass. It can travel long distances. And it can search for prey without dense vegetation blocking its path. Which leads to a much bigger story. Because the very landscape that made this bird such a successful hunter is now becoming harder for it to survive in. Here's the part of the secretary bird story that most people never expect. This bird isn't just a predator. It can also act as a signal of the health of the African grassland ecosystem. Why? Because secretary birds need space. Lots of it. They depend on open landscapes where they can walk, hunt, raise chicks, and move between feeding areas. But roads, farms, development, and changing vegetation can break those landscapes into smaller pieces. And when open grassland becomes dense with shrubs and woody vegetation, the bird's hunting territory can become much harder to use. Research has found a dramatic difference in nesting success between wide-open grasslands and areas heavily affected by brush and fragmentation. That tells us something important. For this bird, habitat isn't simply a place to live. Habitat is part of its hunting weapon. Take away the open landscape, and you take away the strategy that evolution built into the bird. Recent GPS tracking has made this even clearer. Researchers found that males and females can use very different amounts of territory during the breeding season. Females may travel many miles from the nest searching for enough food for their chicks. That means a small protected patch of land may look safe on a map, but still be too small to support a breeding pair. Imagine putting a bird in a beautiful nature reserve, only to discover that its food is beyond the fence. That's the hidden problem. The secretary bird doesn't simply need protection. It needs connected space. And this is where the story changes. At first, the secretary bird seems almost invincible. A 4-foot-tall predator. A snake hunter. A bird capable of delivering devastating kicks. But even this extraordinary hunter depends on something much more fragile than its legs. It depends on the grass beneath them. Rain feeds the grass. The grass supports insects, rodents, and reptiles. Those animals become prey. And that prey feeds the secretary bird and its young. Everything is connected. During the breeding season, a pair works together to raise their chicks. Both parents contribute to feeding and protecting the young. The chicks eventually learn the skills they'll need to survive. How to move. How to hunt. How to fly. And how to become the next generation of these remarkable predators. But if the grassland disappears, the entire chain begins to break. That is why the secretary bird is so much more than a bird that kills snakes. Its presence can tell us something about the landscape around it. When open grasslands remain connected and productive, secretary birds have the space and food they need. When those landscapes become fragmented or degraded, their future becomes much less certain. The secretary bird has spent millions of years mastering the art of survival on the ground. Yet today, its greatest challenge may not be a cobra. It may be us changing the world beneath its feet. And perhaps that's what makes this bird so unforgettable. It looks like a predator built to defeat almost anything. But its survival depends on something surprisingly simple. An open horizon. The secretary bird is proof that nature doesn't always create predators for the sky. Sometimes, the most remarkable hunters walk. Enjoying the video? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss more videos. And share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching.